In the heart of West Africa, where stone meets sky and silence speaks, there lies a land suspended between earth and stars, a place known as the Bandiagara Plateau. Long walls of sandstone rise like sleeping giants, weathered by time, carved by memory, and inhabited by stories. This land belongs to the Dogon, a people of quiet strength, of endurance, of deep knowing. For centuries, perhaps millennia, they have dwelled in harmony with these cliffs, with their sky, and with the unseen world beneath the soil. Here, nothing rushes. The wind moves with intention. The stones do not shift for noise, only for meaning. The Dogon believe that everything has meaning, and not everything is said. Some things must be listened to. They are builders of a different kind, not only of homes and fields, but of systems, of language, of rhythm, of memory. The Dogon built their world not with iron or conquest, but with symbols, with gestures, with patience. They watch, they remember, they wait for the right moment to speak. To enter a Dogon home is to walk into meaning. The very architecture holds layers of thought. A granary is not just a place to store millet, it is a vessel of cosmic significance. Four walls align to the cardinal point, a roof that echoes the curve of the celestial womb. Even the doors, carved with care, hold stories that only the initiated may fully decode. These are not decorations, they are sentences, etched in wood, spoken in silence. The Dogon do not separate the sacred from the everyday. They do not believe the spirit world is elsewhere. It is here, in the red dust, in the footsteps of the elders, in the breath between words, in the silence between drums. To the Dogon, the earth listens, and so they speak with care. Time moves differently here. There is no rush, no urgency to conquer or consume. Instead, there is attention. The kind of attention that notices the way millet bends in wind, the way goats refuse to eat when storms are near, the way ancestors visit in dreams, not with thunder, but with a whisper. To understand the Dogon is to slow down, to release the tight grip of clocks, and open oneself to rhythm, not the rhythm of machines, but the rhythm of seasons, of cycles, of breath, of returning. The Dogon live inside this rhythm, and they do not try to outrun it, they rest within it. As one might rest within a song, the cliffs themselves are more than rock, they are ancestors. The Dogon believe that the spirits of the dead live within these walls, that when one dies, they do not vanish, but move into the stones, watching, guiding, listening, and so the cliffs are treated with reverence. They are not mined, they are not disturbed, they are greeted, and sometimes, if the air is still enough, they speak back. The Dogon do not have a single holy book. They have masks, they have sand drawings, they have stories passed from elder to child, not written, but woven into ritual, into movement, into silence. This is not ignorance, it is intentional remembering, a way of keeping truth alive, fluid, capable of change, without being erased. The Dogon do not perform for spectacle, their ceremonies are not for entertainment, they are communication. To dance is to speak, to carve a mask is to ask a question, to don that mask is to receive an answer. Even silence can be a question, even stillness can be a reply. In the sacred drawings made with sand, the Dogon create temporary maps of the universe. A single symbol might represent a star, a deity, a fish, or a moment in time. The meaning is layered, and like the sand, it can be blown away or made again. Nothing is fixed. But everything matters. To pour water into dust may seem futile, but for the Dogon, it is a ritual of return, an offering to the spirits that live in the ground and beyond the stars. It is a way of saying, dash, dash, I remember you. I know you are watching. You have not been forgotten. Every act has meaning here, even the way one sits, the way one eats, the way one greets another person, with both hands open, as if offering the self entirely. Nothing is casual. Everything is sacred, because the Dogon believe that the world is layered, not only with matter, but with spirit, with echo, with presence unseen. The Dogon are known in the West for one mysterious fact. They knew of Sirius B-, a star invisible to the naked eye. Long before telescopes could see it, many have speculated, how could they know? But to the Dogon, this question misses the point. Knowledge does not always come through tools. It can come through dreaming, through ritual, through ancestral guidance, through listening. The Dogon teach us that the earth is not inert, that time is not linear, that silence is not absence. They teach that water has memory, that stars can sing, that the breath of the world can be heard if we are quiet long enough. And above all, they teach that meaning does not shout, it waits patiently in the stillness for those who are ready to hear. And in this listening earth, in this world of carved symbols and whispered truths, begins the story of the Nommo, the twin beings who came not to conquer, but to balance, to restore, to breathe the first true word into a silent world. But first, we must go further back, to the beginning, to the egg, to the sky, to the descent. The Nommo descend from the sky, before the earth turned, before rivers flowed, before the dust of the cliffs was even dreamed into shape. There was only Amma, the supreme being, the silent one, the first breath, the center of stillness, the cosmic egg. In the beginning, Amma created the world not from noise, but from balance, from silence shaped like sound, from energy bound by harmony. The Dogon say Amma made the universe inside an egg, the cosmic egg, a swirling coiled owl, neither light nor dark, neither water nor fire, but all of these things, tightly held, waiting. Inside the egg were the seeds of creation. 8 ancestors, 8 sparks of potential, but it was not time yet. So they remained within the shell, coiled like spirals, twinned like mirrored flame. The egg was the world, and within it stirred the Nommo, the first of Amma's creations, and the most mysterious. They were not like men, nor like beasts. They were not singular, they were plural, a being made of many selves, twins within twins, a harmony of opposites. They were fish-like, serpentine, waterborne. They were breath and voice. Yet, in their earliest state, they said nothing. They listened. The Nommo represent the highest law in Dogon cosmology, order through balance. They are the guardians of speech, but they do not rush to speak. They wait for silence, because in the beginning, all things must be received before they can be given. The transgression. But not all within the egg waited. One of the 8 ancestral beings rebelled. He emerged before the proper time, a premature birth. An act of disorder. He twisted away from Amma's intention, and in his haste, he disrupted the balance. His name was Yurugu. He is the symbol of distortion, of ambition without patience, of speech without listening. He split away, tearing the fabric of the egg, introducing duality, imperfection, and incompleteness. The universe, once sealed and perfect, was opened before its time, and so Amma responded. The descent of the Nommo. To restore the order, Amma sent the Nommo into the world. They descended from the sky, not in thunder, not in fire, but in water. They arrived in a great ark, a vessel woven from the laws of the cosmos. Some say it was made of fire and water. Some say it traveled across the Sirius star system, between the seen and unseen realms. Some say it sounded like a single unending note. The Nommo did not crash into the world. They blended into it, seeping into rivers, spilling into wells, hiding in the spaces between language. They brought with them order and vibration and the memory of the egg, the nature of the Nommo. The Nommo are not gods in the Western sense. They are principles. They represent cosmic harmony, the balance of gender, the law of duality, the unity of many forms in one being. They are often described as amphibious, part fish, part human, but never fully either. They transcend categories. The Nommo are twins, but also 4 pairs of twins, 8 in total, yet one essence. This is the Dogon way. Truth is layered, and the Nommo, like truth, are best approached slowly and reverently. Silence as power. The Nommo do not dominate. They do not shout down the world. They whisper to it. They whisper into it. They do not conquer land. They pour into it like water into dry soil. To the Dogon, silence is not emptiness. It is potential. It is where the first words are formed. The Nommo teach that speaking is sacred and must not be done lightly. Before the Nommo gave language, they gave silence, so the world would learn to listen first. To listen is the first sacred act. Only in silence does the world reveal itself. Restoring balance. The descent of the Nommo was not just arrival, it was rebalancing. The rupture created by Urugu's early emergence needed healing. The Nommo poured life into the land. They created water. They sang to the rivers. They whispered names to the animals. They planted rhythm into the hearts of all things. And they taught the first humans how to align with that rhythm, not through conquest, but through observance, through offerings, through stillness. The masks carved in their image are more than art. They are tools of resonance. When worn in ritual, they channel the voice of the Nommo. They bring that silent harmony into motion. And so the Dogon speak, not just with words, but with gesture, dance, symbol, and ritual sound. Sacred twins and the structure of the world. Every aspect of the Dogon cosmos is built on twinning, male and female, earth and sky, silence and speech, matter and spirit. The Nommo are the living diagram of this sacred duality. Their essence teaches that wholeness comes not from uniformity, but from the gentle joining of opposites. In every child, in every ritual, in every carved door, the principle of twinning endures. To break the twin bond is to bring disorder. To restore the twin bond is to bring peace. The Nommo restore. They realign. They remind us of the egg, the star connection. Western scholars were astonished to learn that the Dogon knew about Sirius B, a dense, invisible companion star to the bright Sirius A. The Dogon said the Nommo came from Sirius, from a system of balance, of unseen power, of invisible weight. Sirius B is small, but unimaginably heavy. It influences without being seen. This, too, is the Nommo, not loud, not obvious, but deeply felt. What the Nommo teach. The Nommo are not figures of fear. They are not to be worshipped with dread. They are reminders, guides, teachers. They teach patience before action, listening before speech, balance before expansion, ritual before power. They are the rhythm that holds things together. To forget them is to forget the song. To remember them is to find one's place in it again. The return to silence. The Dogon say the Nommo will return again at the end of this world age to bring balance once more. But they do not say when, because time is not fixed. It flows in spirals. Perhaps they have already returned. Perhaps they are here, in waters, in dreams, in the spaces between moments. The Nommo do not need to be seen. They do not need to speak. Their presence is felt in the breath between words, in the silence before waking, in the quiet places we forget to visit. They have descended, and they remain, not above us and not below, but within. Balance is not the absence of motion. It is the presence of intention. The Nommo wait in the water, and the world listens still. The sacred twins and the balance of all things. In the world of the Dogon, there is no such thing as one. One is a silence without its echo, a call with no response, a step with no rhythm. Life, they say, does not exist alone. It dances in twos, in reflection, in harmony, in sacred twins. The divine blueprint, Amma's first intention. At the beginning of time, before the egg cracked, before Yurugu shattered the silence, Amma intended a universe of perfect duality. Not division, not conflict, but completion. Each being would be born with its twin. Male and female, sun and moon, water and fire, voice and ear. Each twin would reflect the other, not in sameness, but in balance. One moves, one rests, one gives, one receives. This pairing, this rhythm, was Amma's first law. The Nommo were the living form of this intention. They were paired beings, inseparable, interdependent, speaking in turn, swimming as one. The Dogon say the universe was built on this pattern dash dash, like a loom stringing opposites into form. Sacred twins in the human world. Even among people, twins are sacred. To birth twins is to mirror the heavens. It is to bring the rhythm of the cosmos into the village. When twins are born, they are not seen as two individuals. They are a singular phenomenon. The sacred return of balance, a gift from the Nommo, a reminder. In some Dogon villages, twins are raised with reverence, their growth observed for signs, for visions, for messages whispered from the deep. Because twins carry more than life. They carry pattern. One twin is the breath in, the other the breath out. One plants, one harvests, one speaks, one listens. Together, they form the world's motion. The four pairs of the Nommo. The Nommo are not just one pair. They are four sets of twins. 8 beings. 8 expressions of divine balance. Yet, they are still one. This is not contradiction. It is multiplicity within unity. Each twin pair represents an aspect of cosmic law, matter and spirit. Sky and earth, male and female, life and death. They are not separate from each other. They are reflections through time. Together, they form the structure of the cosmos. Together, they restore the crack caused by Yurugu's rebellion. In the center of this spiral of twins is Amma, the silent source. Not a god of thrones and fire, but the infinite breath holding all forms. The law of pairing, duality without conflict. In the Dogon world, duality is not opposition, it is relationship. To be male is not to be above female, and to be elder is not to dominate the young. Each exists because of the other. Even night is not the enemy of day. It is its complement, its mirror, its resting time. To live well is to honor one's opposite, to move in rhythm, to yield when needed, to speak, then fall into silence, to inhale, then exhale. This balance is visible in everything, in the way the Dogon plant and harvest. Alternating fields, letting the land breathe, in the architecture, homes aligned in twin rows, in ritual dances, masked twins circling each other like stars. Each act is designed to return the village to the original rhythm of the sacred twins. Masks of harmony. The Dogon masks are not just faces, they are equations, cosmic diagrams made wearable. Some have twin faces, 2 mouths, 2 eyes, to represent dual speech or the echo between worlds. When worn in ceremony, the dancer becomes a bridge, the twin within the one, a vessel for balance. Each movement of the mask is a syllable, a message, not to the crowd, but to the spirits watching. To wear a mask is not to hide. It is to become a language. Twins in the body. The Dogon say the body itself is twinned. 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 lungs, 2 feet. Each limb balances the other. Each side is the shadow of the other. Even the soul has twins. One stays with the body, the other travels in dreams. This inner twin returns with knowledge. From the world of the Nommo, dreams are not fiction here. They are conversations, soft messages from the twin self. The Nommo speak through these dreams, and they are rarely loud. To lose one's twin, physical or spiritual, is to feel half lit, like a moon in eclipse, which is why the Dogon pray for the return of balance, not just to the world, but to the self. Sacred plants and twin forces. Even in plants, the Dogon see twin principles. The millet stalk, with its symmetrical leaves, grows in mirrored pairs. Its root system balances above and below. Medicinal plants are chosen not only for potency, but for twin symbolism. A root that grows in spirals is believed to carry the energy of reconciliation, a harmonizing twin force. These medicines are not just biochemical, they are cosmic adjustments. To heal the body is to restore the twin principle within it. Gender and sacred fluidity. Dogon teachings on gender reflect the twin nature of creation. Male and female are not rigid categories, they are energetic principles. Every being carries both. Every soul is a blend. The Nommos themselves transcend gender. They are often described as fish beings with fluid form. Neither one nor the other, or perhaps both at once. The Dogon see this not as confusion, but as sacred wholeness. In rituals, men may wear masks that speak for the feminine principle. Women may lead rites of rebirth and renewal. This is not disorder, it is cosmic harmony expressed through form. The Nommos are not either or, they are both and. Star twins and the return. Dogon myths speak of a time when the Nommos will return to heal the fractures of the world. Some say they will come again from Sirius. Others say they never left, that they wait in wells, in lakes, in dreams, in the eyes of newborn twins. The Dogon calendar, aligned with celestial movements, tracks not only time, but the return of rhythms. Every 60-year cycle marks a cosmic conversation, a checking of balance, a moment to ask, are we living in twin harmony or in solitary disorder? The answer is not always clear, but the question must be asked gently, ritually, in twin voices. Closing reflections. Twins are more than two bodies. They are a principle, a way of being in rhythm. To live like the Nommos is not to divide, but to join. To speak with care, to listen with presence, to act in rhythm with something beyond oneself. In every moment, you are invited to twin your action. With intention, balance is not a fixed point. It is a rhythm, a returning, a remembering. And the sacred twins, the Nommos, are always waiting in the stillness to help you return. All things are born in twos, but the wise walk as one. To speak without your twin is to speak without echo. The Nommos do not shout. They sing in pairs, and the universe listens. Water, silence, and the speaking world. There are places where words are not welcome, where the world itself seems to whisper, hush, where silence is not empty, but full of breath, of memory, of meaning too delicate for language. Among the Dogon, this place is called the water, not just the river, not just the well, but water itself, in every form, as spirit, as history, and as voice. Water as divine substance. To the Dogon, water is not only a necessity, it is a presence, a being, a current from the world of the Nommos. Water is life, but not because it sustains crops or cools the skin, though it does these things too. Water is life because it remembers the first silence. The Nommos were born of water, shaped from its rhythm, spoken into being through its flow, and when they descended, they brought water with them. Water that was not yet river, not yet rain, but sacred sound. This water became the first voice, but it did not speak like humans speak. It moved, it pulsed, it reflected, silence as the beginning of sound. The Dogon understand that before there can be speech, there must be silence, not as absence, but as receptivity, as womb, as the container that holds the breath before it is released. In this way, silence is not nothing, it is waiting. It is the pool before the ripple, the sky before the rain. The Nommos did not begin the world with declarations, they began it by listening, by becoming silence, and from this silence, speech flowed. Sacred speech and ritual sound. Dogon speech is not casual. Language is seen as a force, a tool of precision, a vessel of power. Words shape reality. Too many words scatter meaning. Too few make it brittle. So the Dogon speak with care, and when they wish to speak deeply, they do not always use the mouth. They use ritual. To the Dogon, ritual is the language of the unseen. Dances are not performances, they are conversations with spirits, with ancestors, with the Nommo. Each movement is a syllable, each drumbeat a punctuation, and between the beats is silence, the most important part of the sentence. The Nommo taught us that the pause speaks louder than the word, that the breath between gestures is where the divine enters. Language and water, the same flow. Dogon cosmology sees speech and water as mirrors. Both flow, both shape, both erode and build, both remember. When the Nommo gave sacred knowledge to the world, they gave it through water and through sound that moved like water. This is why many Dogon myths describe knowledge as fluid. It must be carried carefully. It must be poured at the right moments, just as you cannot pour boiling water into a frozen bowl without breaking it. So too must speech match its container. Knowledge must be poured, not thrown. It must be felt in the hand before it leaves the lips. Sacred vessels and the containment of voice. The Dogon carve special bowls and jars used only for ritual water. These are not just tools. They are mouths of the spirit, the containers of wisdom. Some are used only for naming ceremonies, where a child's soul is introduced to the world. Others are used to carry water to the ancestors, poured upon the earth as libation, so the dead may drink and remember their place in the living world. In every ritual involving water, there is silence before the pour, because it is not just water, it is speech. It is intention made liquid. To speak without silence is noise, to pour without pause is waste. The Dogon teach that the world listens in stillness, not during the shout, but after it. The serpent and the spiral, language uncoiled. In Dogon symbols, the spiral and the serpent appear often. The Nommo are linked to both. The spiral is language unfolding. It begins in silence at the center, then expands outward. The serpent, winding, undulating, is both voice and water. It slides between forms. It sheds skin. It leaves its memory in curves. The Dogon do not speak in straight lines. Their myths spiral, their knowledge loops, their rituals circle. This is not confusion, this is depth. The spiral always returns, as does the voice, reflection and echo. The Dogon say that water reflects, but not always truthfully. Still water tells the truth. Agitated water lies. So too with speech. The Nommo taught that words spoken from calm reflect reality. Words spoken in anger distort it. A wise one waits until the water stills before speaking. This is the foundation of Dogon diplomacy, of conflict resolution, of naming of judgment. Let the water rest, then look, then speak. Do not speak while the storm stirs. Speak when the pond remembers. Rain and the return of speech. Rain in Dogon cosmology is sacred speech returning. Each drop is a Nommo syllable, a soft echo of the first descent. Before rain, the sky darkens. The air holds its breath. That moment, the waiting, the tension, the silence before the storm, is full of possibility. Then the first drop falls, and the world exhales. This is how the Nommo teach, in sequence, in rhythm, in release. The Dogon often sit in silence during the first rains, not to avoid the wetness, but to listen, because in that rain, the ancestors speak. The first word. Dogon stories tell of a time when the world was soundless. Only the wind moved, only the trees spoke in leaves. Then the Nommo arrived. It placed a shell upon the ground, a spiral shell, and from within it, a sound emerged, a tone, soft and long, neither voice nor music, just a note. That was the first word. Not a command, not a question, just a presence. All language has spiraled from that note since. The world is not spoken into being with noise, it is hummed into shape. like a lullaby sung by silence itself. Sacred quiet in Dogon life. Dogon elders often spend long hours in intentional quiet. They sit beneath trees, they drink water slowly, they observe. This is not idleness, this is alignment. In a world driven by urgency, yet they choose stillness because they know the Nommos speak in whispers, and the ancestors do not interrupt noise. To hear the sacred, one must quiet the surface of the inner water. Then, and only then, the voice may emerge, closing reflections, becoming the bowl. To speak well, you must first become like the bowl, still, open, shaped with care. To listen well, you must become like the water, deep, reflective, capable of holding everything without breaking. The normal are not distant gods. They are patterns, they are reminders. They live in water and they speak through silence, and they invite you every moment to pour your voice like water into a vessel of peace. When all other voices fall quiet, the Nommos speak, not with thunder, but with ripples. Silence is not the absence of meaning, it is its beginning. Offerings to the ancestors in the dark. The night holds more than dreams, more than rest, more than stars. Among the Dogon, the night is sacred, because it is shared with those who came before, shared with the ones whose names are no longer spoken aloud, but whose presence is still felt. In the dust, in the walls, in the very silence between breaths. These are the ancestors, and they are not gone, and they have only shifted into a quieter form. The dark as a living space. In many parts of the world, darkness is feared. It is seen as the absence of knowledge, the space of danger, of endings. But in Dogon belief, darkness is not emptiness, it is containment, a shelter, a blanket drawn across the shoulders of the world, so that spirits may walk without being seen. The Dogons say that the ancestors move through the night like wind, invisible, cool, always watching. They do not seek to frighten, they seek to remind. At night, the boundary between the visible and the hidden grows thinner. It is in these hours that offerings are made, quietly, patiently, with hands steady and hearts open. The ancestors and the cliffside tombs. High on the cliffs of Bandiagara, there are ancient tombs, some carved directly into the stone, others made from mud and wood, now cracked by time but still standing. These are not places of sorrow, they are places of continuity. To the Dogon, death is not an end. It is a transition, a movement from speaking aloud to speaking inwardly. The ancestors are not mourned, they are consulted, they are honored, they are present. The dead do not sleep, they wait, they watch, and when the village grows quiet, they speak again. The ritual of offering. An offering is more than food. It is recognition. It says, you are still part of this. It says, we have not forgotten. It says, your wisdom endures in our hands. At night, villagers may leave bowls of millet, water drawn fresh from the well, small beads or grains, or even whisper a name into the wind. These offerings are not consumed physically, they are spiritually received. And if the ancestors are pleased, they respond not with speech, but with balance. Rain falls when it is needed. The goats birth twins. The harvest is full. That is their voice. To feed the ancestors is to remember yourself. Altars and memory spaces. In every Dogon home, there are small altars, not grand, not loud, just a raised ledge of earth or stone. Upon it, ash, feathers, fragments, bones. These are memory spaces, the home's echo of the cliff tombs. Here, the living converse with the dead, not by summoning, but by listening. In these spaces, a father may ask a question, a grandmother may leave a tear, a child may sit and simply breathe. Because the ancestors do not need explanations, they need presence. The Dhamma, ritual of return. Every so often, after a death, after a period of mourning, a sacred ceremony is held. It is called the Dhamma. The Dhamma is a farewell, but it is also a bridge, a final dance performed with masks and chants to guide the spirit of the departed from the visible world into the realm of ancestors. It is not mournful, it is rhythmic, joyful, a reminder that nothing is truly lost, only returned. The masks worn during Dhamma often reflect Nommos symbols with dual faces, spiral patterns, and carved water lines, because the Dhamma is not just for the dead, it is for the world, to rebalance what has tilted, to remind the village how to walk in rhythm again. Ancestral knowledge and dreaming. The Dogon say, the ancestors speak most clearly in dreams, not with words, but with symbols. A broken calabash, a river flowing backward, a bird with two beaks. These are not nonsense, they are lessons. It is up to the dreamer to sit in silence and receive their meaning. To rush interpretation is to dishonor the voice. To wait, to feel, to revisit the dream in quiet is the way of the elders. Not all knowledge comes in daylight. Some must be found in the folds of night. The sky as ancestor. In Dogon belief, the sky itself holds the memory of the ancestors. The star, especially Sirius, they are not distant lights, they are homes, resting places for those who kept balance well in life. Each ancestor, upon passing, returns not to the soil, but to the sky. From there, they watch, they guide, they whisper, and once a year, during specific celestial alignments, the Dogon gather in silence. To gaze upward, not to ask, but to thank. To look up is to remember. To remember is to receive guidance. The role of elders, carriers of ancestral rhythm. The elders among the Dogon are not just old, they are transmitters. Each wrinkle, each pause, each proverb told with half a smile carries not just their life, but those who came before. When an elder speaks, the village listens, not just to one voice, but to many, a chorus of the remembered, speaking through cracked lips. They do not shout, they do not argue, they speak in the rhythm of the Nommo. The mouth of the elder is the doorway of the dead. Through it, the ancestors sing again. The sacred balance between worlds. In all things, the Dogon seek balance between life and death, between sound and silence, between movement and stillness, between now and before. Offerings to the ancestors are not rituals of fear, they are rituals of remembrance, of reconnection, of harmony. When the living forget the dead, the village stumbles, the rhythm falters, the rain pauses. But when the dead are honored, the world moves as it should. The millet grows, the children sleep well, the stars shine in rhythm. Closing reflections, becoming rememberers. To offer is to remember is to realign is to live again in the spiral of the sacred. The ancestors do not ask for monuments, they ask for silence, for care, for ritual bowls gently filled and left in the dark. They ask to be spoken of, not loudly but truly. And if we do this, if we become rememberers, then we too will never be lost. The ancestors do not leave. They wait beneath the earth, beneath the breath, in the bowl of darkness, where all songs begin again. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.